April 14th, 2013. The journey of breathing life into the idea. I didn't want to create a blog and share my experiences. I was going to be selfish with what I was learning. You see, after I came up with the RV idea on how to breathe easy for the rest of my life, I got slapped with rejection, kicked with ridicule, and raked with insecurities. I couldn't go to any kind of moral police and ask for a rape kit to prove that I had been violated. My horror was inconceivable because it was cleverly disguised as compassion. I had no one that would save me from my attackers, which were mostly the people I called family and friends. Everyone believing that I was crazy when in fact, I'd be crazy's ass when it tried to claim ownership of my personal being. All I wanted to do was be me and live with no restrictions. What's so absurd about it? Even if it wasn't attainable in your eyes, are you really gonna try and block me? Here I am, the big goof, ready to share my epiphany to those that I felt would support me, even if it's just with a high five. And all I got were stares and frowns and let-me-downs of silence. The ones that did say something said things like, "Girl, your ass is crazy. Why would you want to do a fool thing like that?" Now, I'm being polite with not writing all of the expletives that were really said, and I can just imagine what was whispered about me that I didn't hear. But I didn't. I only focused on what I wanted to do. I mean, damn. I had overcome the stresses of being stressed, and those closest to me were orchestrating another symphony of it in such unison that one would swear they were all working together. I would have not followed my dream had I allowed the distractions of disapproval to shut me down. I will admit that initially everyone had legitimate concerns for my well-being and the well-being of my children. At least that's the benefit of the doubt that my love for them offered. I am very benevolent, even in my understanding, and at any given time, it can be a curse or a gift to me. But I'm just the kind of witch that got two mouths, and I can be nourished by both. My mama taught me that trick straight from the umbilical cord. There's no need to fear. The underdog is here. Had echoed in my mind so much after years of hearing my autistic brother play it over and over and over again. Then all of a sudden, in a cycle of a moment, I realized that my yesterday was speaking life into my future. The insatiable truth of this instantly took my dreams from Clark Kent to Superman. The S on my chest stands for not only my name, but it represented me and how I was going to live the rest of my life. Suddenly. Becoming determined took on a whole new meaning once I started being determined. Being determined proved healthy for me because I didn't have enough salt in my body to produce tears or to make me sick. I got the courage to ask my best friend to share in this dream of mine. Share it with me. Live it with me. To my amazement, but not to my surprise, they agreed without hesitation, and they didn't need an explanation or a date of expiration. Because of that support on that day, I took my first breath of me. With my lungs full of sudden determination, I began the long, rigorous process of learning everything about the RV life and what it had to offer. I would be telling the truth if I said that I was afraid. But I wasn't fearful of following my dreams. I was fearful of not knowing how. Oh my goodness, there was so much to learn, so much to consider, and when I didn't know where to begin, I decided to begin right where I was at, which was within my price range. My family consisted of me, my 4 children, and our 3 birds, parakeets named Sunny, Mordecai, and Stratus, and my best friend was going to be joining us, so we required a lot of room. As I searched the rigs that I could afford, I didn't want the responsibility of driving something that huge. I was looking at a Class A motorhome, which I believe they are classified by their style and their weight, if I'm not mistaken. A Class A motorhome is comparable to a city bus. I cringed at the thought of gasoline prices, and the thought of pulling up at Walmart in that big-ass bus just tickled me until I considered again that I just may have to. I was looking for used RVs for sale on Craigslist, eBay, RV Trader, and RV magazines. I had always loved RVs since I could remember from watching them being given away and won on The Price is Right. I thought they were so cool to have something like that, and if you were a real Price is Right fan, you know that Bob Barker gave one of those things away on almost every show. I had been to a couple of RV shows, so I kind of knew what to expect as far as the type of quality you can get when it comes to comfort and beauty. I had never driven or rode in one, but if dreams count, I had been riding and driving RVs since I was 8 years old. I looked at old RVs, new ones, pull-behind trailers, fifth wheels, pop-ups. Hell, I even looked at some damn tents. The more I researched, the more intrigued I became. Some of these things had spas in them and all of the comforts of home that you could imagine. It was just confirmation to me that you don't have to be some kind of mountain man or outdoor fanatic to consider a lifestyle like this. If you enjoyed your toys, then the motorhome manufacturers have created RVs with you in mind, because most RVs look better than many people's homes these days. Now, looks never have been the final nail in the coffin for me, and as far as I was concerned, looks was one of the main things that I wanted to shy away from. The option of being flashy was the last thing in my mind, since I couldn't achieve that materialistic goal in my normal life. It sure wasn't a reflection of what I wanted to adhere to in my new one. Although I gotta admit, I really did enjoy looking and admiring them. I looked at practical RVs in a practical price range. I wanted durability, so I didn't want anything too new. I wanted dependability, which meant I didn't want anything too old. The year is 2013, so I was looking between the years of 1998 to 2007. I flip-flopped back and forth like a fish out of water in regards to the style of RV I wanted to live in. I had 5 other people to consider, and I had to consider their comforts and their needs, and I had to most of all consider what I needed to have in order to maintain the strength of protecting us. I will give anyone considering this lifestyle this tip. Don't try to educate yourself about everything. It's okay to ask questions. I made that mistake because I feared the backlash of discriminatory treatment by dealers or those who were selling, because in all of my research, I only came across a few young African American families that did this full time. It was almost unheard of. I ate too much rejection from my family and friends, so I feared not being told the truth because I was black. I feared being overcharged because I was black. I feared being misled because I was black. And I feared being targeted because I was black. I realized how black I was when I felt the jealousy from whites that wanted to do what I was doing but couldn't. I was a little confused because all of my family and friends that were African American were mad at me for following my dreams, and now I experienced white people that were jealous of me because of my dreams. I was determined to beat them at their own game. I wasn't going to be taken advantage of because of my femininity either. So I read and I read and I researched and discovered everything I could on my own. Basically, I feared failing in the process of my dreams, and anything I could pin failure on, I did, only so I could practice at challenging it head on, including racism and discrimination. It's a reality I had to consider because in my environment, I know the realities of it all too well. But that fear became one of those moments of which that could have been a curse or a gift, and this time I'd say it was both. Even with 2 mouths, I couldn't stomach the truth that my self-educated methods of research left me unbalanced, unable to compare and contrast the factors and realities of those that had already done this. I wasn't the first person to have this dream, nor will I be the last. So I take this time to acknowledge those that have taken this step before me, black or white. I honor the courage and the simple complexities that come along with living life like this. All that you eventually shared with me once I had the courage to ask from people of every ethnicity and color. I salute your salute. Special shout out to the gypsies, the nomads, the hobos, and van dwellers. You guys freaking rock. I was acting like a runaway train going so fast that I was beginning to be known as deja vu. I had to slow down because my pursuit at making this happen caused me to neglect some key elements regarding my health, the status of the world and its economics, and the possible dangers of not being anchored to a brick and mortar. I stepped back and took time to consider natural disasters, martial law, wars, a collapsed economy, food shortages. I mean, you name it, I had to consider it. When I see a picture hanging slightly crooked on the wall, I balance it. So that's what I had to go and do for my research. My next blog, I will share all of what I considered in detail when I made my initial choice, but it definitely wasn't my last. Mississippi. Just don't know what particular part. We just left Sardis and Batesville. We're here at this particular state park. It's beautiful, it's awesome. Everybody's having an awesome time, and I'm enjoying it myself. And this was just a quick video to remind me of why I made this decision and that I'm sharing my experience with you. This is the homeschool mom, full-time RV life, African American style. Signing off.